lace making. Now you can see I've made this one. Well, I'll tell you what I haven't done. Oops. And it's going to take a while, so maybe I shouldn't. No, I want to collect up the whole thing. So on my keyboard, Control A, yeah? That then, as you can see on my resequence, takes the whole thing up, and layout, even though I've already sewn it, I should have done this before. Auto center to work area, hit enter, the whole thing will jump up and move, and now it is actually in the center of my hoop. And I'm going to save that. So I am going to, I've just called this simple bookmark. So now we're going to make something along these lines. Okay, I am just going to take my original drawing and look at it's 1.8 more or less by 6. Okay, so I just know where I'm starting with. So design 1, let's start again. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do, go to digitize. I'm going to do it this time in green. I fancy green. I'm not doing it in white. You could do it in lovely white, but I'm not doing it in white because you won't see it on my screen. So I'm doing it in green. Of course, it's up to you what colour you do it when you get to your machine. But I like to use a definite colour so that I can see exactly what I'm doing. So a rectangle square, well, let's just draw one. I don't know, I'd always start off with like, oh, let's go from here to there, bring it down about that big, boom, right? I want it outline, so pick it up, I want it outline, and then in my width and height, what am I working in at the moment? Click off it, I'm working in US, that suits me at the moment. So click back on it and say, what did I say I wanted it? I wanted it about 1.8, yeah? Take the lock off so it's not going to keep its proportion, and I said I wanted the bottom of it to be, oh, not 60, God help me, 6 inches. Okay, so now that's jumped. Let's press 0 so I get it back up at full size. So that has now jumped up to being what I want it to be. Alright, so the next step is to make some sort of mesh. So I'm just going to duplicate that design, then say what I want it to fill. Very nice. And I'm going to keep it on Tatomi, but I am going to make the spacing 3.25. Oh, that's quite nice. But I'm going to go to the stitching tab at the top over here and take off all the underlay, and then go back to fill and realise that I'm in inches. Click off, come from to metric, back to metric if you don't mind, pick it up again and say, oh no, 3.25. If you don't mind, 3.25. There we go, that's more like it, isn't it? So, now, if we go to back to stitching, and we're taking off the underlay, and we look at the stitch angle. If I put the stitch angle at, let's say I put it at 90 degrees, so it should be up and down. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to keep this, but this is just for example. Then duplicate that again, so I've got another one now, and on this one, change the stitch angle to 180 degrees, right? So now, if we wind, where am I gone? Where are you? Now you can see I've made a complete netting, yeah, but I don't want a netting. So I'm going to go back up to the first one, and I'm going to say I want my stitch angle at 45. Okay, well that's quite nice. But I'm going to go down to the second one and say I want my stitch angle at 225. Which actually is the complete absolute opposite. What does it matter, does it? Because that's given me quite a nice diamond effect, which is actually, if I just press 0 so I get it back in the centre, actually is quite what I'd like. Or I could say, what did I say for 45? 45, the opposite of 45 on 360 is... If I said that, 125. There. Now, I've got, if I zoom that in, can you see now? Good job, I know geometry and know what my angles are. Now, I've got a diamond effect, which is not quite the same as I did on my first one, but let's just go with that now. We got it. Let's do it. Yeah, so now I got hatch effect, but in a diamond shape. All right, let's go. Let's go. So I'm now gonna, no, I've got to go back, actually, pick it up again. And I will go back to 225. Yeah, because, yeah, let's go back to that and keep it the same. But you see what I mean? Depending on what angle you use is how you could affect the netting in the background anyway, right? So we're starting there, and now we're going to go on to move on to do the next stage. Now, to follow along with what I did before, I'm going to go over to digitize, and I'm going to digitize an open shape so it's just a line in a single run for a moment so I can see what I'm doing, okay? And I'm just going to make some curves. So I'm going to start at the edge, and I'm looking at probably going to come up, curve on the top, that's 1.5, come down 1.5, go up 1.5, come down 1.5. I'm trying to make them fairly equal as I'm doing it by eye now, so God knows what might happen. But I'm just going to make I've made a line, all in green, just a simple stitch line. Okay, so now I've done it by eye, but can you see how I've made a bit of a scallop eye? So it's right click, left click, right click, left click, right click, left click as I went up, just to make that scallop line. On the last one then, let's go and highlight that little scallop line and say change it to motif. Come into whatever you've got and kind of looking at M Gallery, okay? No matter what it says, we'll bring that down and up so that we can look at it. And I can't remember now off the top of my head which one I used last time, but I used one of these. I just wanted something that was a bit floral, a bit nice. I can't. Always can never find it again. Oh, it was that one, I think. Right, let's do that. So see, I've done it again. Now, naturally, it's going, because of what I picked, I need to just scoot that up and scoot that down. Maybe make it, I can actually make it a little bit, because that's not leaving me an awful lot of room, is it? Make it a little bit slimmer, okay? Now, you might think, as I did at the time, this works well, actually, but when I get to, not so much there, but here, it gets a little bit confused. Now, the reason why it gets a little bit confused is because of the scallop line, so this is trying to work around the fact that we've got a scallop line. So what you can do here is go over to the other side, and if you increase the spacing, if I put it up to 40, you can change it, or undo, 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 undo. Right, to what I had originally. Actually, I'm not bothered about that little bit of conjunction there. If, because although now picking it up, I want to make it longer to suit me. Yeah, so I'm not worried about that. Now, I'm not worried about this slight confusion here and this bit here, because as you saw, the line that I drew was you know, an awkward shaped line. So this motif is having trouble getting around that line successfully. It's done really well up to here and then went a bit beyond there. But I don't, because to me now that's an individual pattern. I'm quite happy. If you want to use a different motif from your over here, see, from your motif type lines, then use a different motif and space it out so you can formulate it exactly how you want it. But I'm very happy with that. That's not a problem. The next thing I want to go on is to letter and monogram in over here. So I'm going to go to lettering. As usual, I'm going to put a name in, and this time I'm going to do my own name. Okay, Jacqueline. Jacqueline. Yeah. Yes, it's always going to be that way up, isn't it, to start off with, and I'm definitely not going to have it in Bauhaus. But anyway, the first thing I want to do now is say, oh, layouts. I want it to, or baseline, I want it to go top to bottom, right? So there I am. I don't like Bauhaus, so while I've got it highlighted, I will just bring that down, and I will just start working through what I do like. Who's that? Somebody else. Right, ooh, that's quite nice, but it's too big, but anyway. But then you can always resize it, but I'm, you know, I was looking for something a little more. Now I ended up going with this brass plate one, okay. But as you can see, it's a little teeny bit small for me. So holding down shift, I am just going to make it more of a manageable size. Ooh, it's all or nothing with this, isn't it? It's extending both sides, so if I bring the whole thing up, am I fitting in? Yeah, I'm going to make it a teensy bit smaller. That's better, that's more manageable. And now I think they're quite nicely within my limits of what I want. So moving it over and putting it, yeah, centralised within my design that I want to do. So the next step to do basically is to finish this off with a nice satin line. So obviously we're going to take the outside and paste that. Oh. We're going to take the outside line and duplicate it so it'll come up at the bottom and change that from single run to satin run. Okay. And I want it 3mm, well it's done it, hasn't it, basically. I want it 3mm wide. It's normal, so it's running down the centre of our original line here, yeah. Everything, my name is centralised, so that's great. So the next thing I want to do is I want to come over to digitize. And I want a circle. I only want a little one. So I'm going to just, I want to draw a circle, enter, enter. So I've got a circle and I'm going to pick it up and say, oh, sorry, I need to escape, and say, pick it up and say, outline in satin, if you don't mind. Right, so now I've got a satin one. Now I've got it to you know, some sort of size, and it is 3mm. It's the same width as our outside stuff. I don't want it that big, so having made it, I'm going to now start to make it a little smaller, because this is what I wish to, yeah, that's it. No. Bit bigger than that. Yeah, that is what I want to do. And then I'm going to say, oh, please do it 3mm. Right, so I got the right size. And now I've told it to do 3mm wide. And now I will just place this so that the top of the circle in the centre is hidden under the top of the stitching. Okay, now that's good, saving that. So now I want that to stitch out before the outline stitches out. So I've just moved it up one so that it'll do that circle before it does that line, which will nicely hold it down. Now this is where I was on the other one. Having done it all, Control A on your keyboard picks up absolutely everything. Come back down, layout, and auto centre to work area, and bang. So now it's dead in the middle of our hoop. Well, that's it done. That's how you do lace work. Boom, that's it done. Now, what I would say to you is, before we give up there, is, yeah, that's really nice, okay, but I may want to duplicate this. Alright, so now Control A again, so I'm picking everything up, and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to make it a different colour. I'm going to make it purple, okay, and then when I've still got all that highlighted, I will go and group that, so I don't leave anything behind when I come to move it, and I'm going to say, well, no, come over here, my little love, right? So now I got two, haven't I? So I've got plenty of room on this hoop. Undo. What I should have done was gone up here and duplicated the whole of the top one. Not duplicated, sorry, grouped the whole of the top one. So now I got two, right? So let's pick up that one and say, well, come over here, sweetie pie. And then this one, come over here. You know, give it a bit of room. Yeah, is that still, yeah, they're both still within my hoop. So well, let's press naught, get it all up in the middle. So now I got two that I can sew out in this hoop, because why waste a double layer of Obigone wash away stabiliser? I might as well do one as do two, hadn't I? So, alright, that's my name on the second one. I don't want two, do I? Do I want two? I might want two. Maybe I don't want to. So, having done two, I could take the second one, which is in this colour, yeah, ungroup. Now I need to ungroup. So now I've just got the wording. I can, yeah, highlighted the wording, and the name is Jacqueline. And now I can change it. Who would I want to do? Who do I want to make one for? If it's not me, ooh, I got someone I might like to make it for. So I might like to make it for Samantha. Oh, oh my golly gosh me, look at that, Samantha. And I might not want to make it in the same colour, the same script as mine. I might say I want to use that one. Ooh, that's a bit big, isn't it? So now I'll highlight it. And look at the proportions. Take it from the top with a shift. Oh, you've got to remember it. When you shift it, it will work top and bottom the same. So let's see how we get with that. Has that got her in? Yeah, it has. I don't want it as fat as that. I want to slim it down a little bit. There we go. Now, is that true? Let me come out so I can see. Is that, yeah, I do want to grab hold of it, and using my keypad, I'm going to go a couple of ticks over, go north, look at it again. Yeah, so it's away from the edge, you see what I'm saying, but not too close to the stitching. So, and it's about the same distance there as it is there. So now I got my name and Samantha's name, so I can stitch it. I'm going to save that. So now I can stitch out 2 at the same time within the same hoop and save myself. You know, if I'm going to stitch 1, then I might as well stitch 2 that fit in the same hoop together. Okay, and that's basically it. Let's go look at how these sew out.